I recently had a client where he was charged with sexual abuse. He was attending college, getting outstanding grades, had been an outstanding student, scholar, athlete in high school. There was an allegation by a young girl that he had sexually abused her while at his house with his parents. And so he was a very large person. He was 6'2" plus, weighing well over 300 pounds. He was a big boy. And the young girl alleged that while she was up in the room on the second floor, she, while under the bed, was sexually abused and inappropriately touched by this young man. Now, the reason I say that, first of all, that couldn't have happened because the space under the bed was exactly the size of this water bottle. And this guy was so big, he couldn't fit his arm, for God's sakes, under that bed, let alone his shoulders or his arms or his legs. And this girl was saying she was under the bed, way under the bed. So physically, couldn't have happened. And we used this water bottle to show the space under the bed. There were bunk beds. We also had other evidence that this young man's bedroom was in the basement of the home. Then it was the first floor, and then it was the second floor where this young girl was located. This young girl had never seen him up on the second floor, and he had never been up on the second floor because he lived in the basement and she was on the second floor. There was no reason for him to ever go up onto the second floor. He had his own shower, had his own room, his own place with all his video games and PS4 and this, that, and everything else, TV. He very rarely came upstairs except to grab a bite to eat and then went back downstairs. He was attending school full time. He was working at his store Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, all types of hours. Very rarely was he, if ever, home. And when he was home, he'd get home after 7, 8 o'clock at night. This child was already asleep, this young child. So make a long story short, none of the story about this young girl added up. But this part of the evidence that made absolutely no sense at all was that unfortunately this young girl had serious cognitive limitations. And when she was evaluated, she was asked on a Monday what she did on Sunday or Saturday the day before. And she was unable to be able to tell anyone what had happened on Saturday or Sunday when she was asked on Monday during an evaluation. And yet they were claiming that this incident happened many months earlier, where this young girl didn't know how to count 1 to 10. She didn't know the days of the week, the months of the year. She didn't know her own date of birth. She didn't even know what street she lived on, city, town, zip code. She couldn't say her ABCs. She was just unable to know what to say or do. And when all was said and all was done, the DCF at the fee hearing took all the evidence in from the various witnesses and experts and unsupported this case against my client, who has the wishes and the desires to become a federal agent for the United States government. And all his dreams and all his goals and all his aspirations went in the toilet. This young man left school. He was so depressed and so sad and so down because he said that he didn't feel like living anymore. He said he was so sad because he couldn't believe that anyone could ever allege this against him. And again, you look at what he was doing every day. He was getting up real early, taking his girlfriend to the train station, then going to college. And then at night he'd pick his girlfriend up at the train station. And then he'd come home and he'd study, do his homework. And then on the weekends he was working all night Friday after school, all day Saturday into the early evening, and all day Sunday into the early evening. His schedule was just packed, jam-packed with school, studies, and work. He was never home. And that was corroborated and verified by every single family member in the home. So when all was said and all was done, the DCF fee hearing officer, much to her credit, unsupported this allegation of sexual abuse. And when he got the decision, he physically broke down and sobbed in tears. And then when he finally looked up, he says, "Now I can start living again." Indeed you can, young man. Indeed you can.